Hello, hello, and welcome to Temple of Falspot, where our decks are not optimized, but our plays sure as heck are fun. I'm Andy.
I'm Bruce.
Yeah! Welcome back. It's been a great season so far. I think, we got a lot of new listeners, a lot of new watchers. Hello out there. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you press that subscribe button. It, helps us out, helps you out, because, we got one coming out every week.
Right.
Today, I'm excited for the new Hobbit set. If you are listening to this on the day it came out or the week that it came out, pre-releases this weekend. So go to your local game store and check it out. Should be a good time.
Absolutely.
The Lord of the Rings set brought a lot of impactful cards, to say the least, to Commander. And I think that this set, there's some interesting cards here.
Absolutely.
And I guess just as like an aside, the full set hasn't been spoiled as of recording, but it will be by the end of the week. So we're doing our best. If you find cards that you find interesting, put them in the comments below.
Absolutely.
But
I mean, these are cards we find interesting. We're not necessarily saying these are the absolute best cards for Commander in the set. Not close, period. This is closed discussion. We looked at these cards and we're like, that's cool. I love this.
Yes. These are our top handful of interesting, pique our interest cards. So we are not saying that they're the best cards. We're not saying that we're even going to order them. They are just things that we saw and went, I want that. I want that in my deck. I know I set a limitation for myself that none of these for me are legendary.
Yes, me too.
So we are not talking commanders here. We're not talking even legendary creatures that belong in the 99. I got a handful here. But I think I'm going to start.
Okay.
My first one is called Stone by Sunlight. It's an instant for 1 and a white. It's choose one. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Or, until end of turn, target creature becomes an artifact in addition to its other types and gains indestructible. So this is the two best, two amazing modes that are on an instant for 1. So you either have protection or you have removal. And that's really all you need in an instant, especially in white. This is busted.
And it's 2 mana.
It's 2 mana.
2 mana. A lot of times you see stuff like the modal stuff, and they understand for some modals you're getting a tiny ability. So they keep it cheap, and it's barely worth the cost, but because you have all these options, it makes it worth using the card. For this one, I'd take either one of these for this price. But you're getting both. Andy, it doesn't happen often. This was on my list too. This was number 2 on my list. We don't often pick the same cards, but this was definitely one of the ones that was high on my list.
I'm going to slot this into most of my white decks because for a multitude of reasons. One, it is perfect to hold on to until end of game. If you are being attacked for game-winning damage, it is generally because the creature is, pardon my words, fucking huge.
Yes.
So this easily gets rid of it. On the other hand, if you are the aggressor, keeping this in hand is perfect because if you're attacking into a board, say, with a single death touch creature, I feel like I am so frequently not attacking because my opponent has a single death touch creature, and I'm like, giving something indestructible is perfect. Like, say somebody plays a board wipe. I'm always trying to keep in the back of my mind, what is the one thing I would save?
Yeah.
This is something that you would need for that.
What I looked at was, it says both options. It's target creature. It's not target creature you control or target creature an opponent controls.
Ooh.
So you can use this on your own stuff or on your opponent's stuff. Now, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, you're probably never going to target one of your own creatures, but maybe there's a reason for it. And until end of turn, target creature becomes gains indestructible. That's almost always going to be your own creature, but every once in a while, it's going to be nice when it's somebody else's. So that's it. It's something to consider, and also note a lot of legendary creatures nowadays are with power of 3 or less. So you're going to be waiting for them to get big to actually be able to do something with that. So there are some limitations to this card, but I still think this is really good. I mean, I'm not taking out swords out of a deck to put this in, but we're getting close. Like that, it is something to consider, because the ability to protect your commander or one of your essential creatures, in addition, that really counts for something. And the fact this costs 1 more than a sword's isn't really that relevant in Commander. So
especially late game, and
yes,
like the fact that it's an instant cannot go understated. Go understated.
No. So my first one, I'm going to look at a green enchantment. It's called Part in Friendship. It's for 4 and a green. It's enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. If its mana value is less than or equal to the number of lands you control, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability triggers only once each turn. This is going to allow so much replacement. I mean, in the early game, realistically, it's probably more card draw, because you're going to be drawing a creature that you can't play yet. Because you're more likely to get something that has, that is bigger than the number of lands you control. But as the game goes on, more and more, this is just going to be a flip. Here's another card onto the battlefield.
And you're in green. You're going to get a lot of lands out.
Right. I mean, and that's not going to take that long. So by the time if you're playing this for 5 mana, it's probably turn 3 or 4. And at that point, yeah, I know you've probably just got a couple of mana creatures that are 1 mana, maybe 2. But as you go along, those creatures are going to get bigger and you're going to hit more stuff. And honestly, I'm not that worried about even getting it back out onto the battlefield. You're revealing cards until you find a creature card. So you are getting a replacement every time it's going in your hand. Your hand is getting more, your hand is filling as this goes along. I mean, it's no way to protect yourself from a wrath, because you're going to lose all your creatures and you only get to activate it once. But if only once per turn, man,
this is really good in a graveyard deck. Even
Ashnod's Altar, sack your creature, get 2 mana, search for another creature, or you flip until you find another creature. You either get to put it into play or it goes into your hand. Maybe you're going to sack. Well, you don't sack again because you only get it once per turn. But with an ability like Ashnod's Altar, you can sack on each of your opponent's turns.
Yeah.
So you could get through a lot of creatures and do a lot of shifting with this card.
And like at 5 mana, the earliest you're getting it out is with 3 lands, right? 3 lands and a Soul Ring.
Yep.
Maybe 2 lands.
Right.
But even 3 lands, like, you're getting, like, most of your creatures are going to be either in the 4 or 5 mana range.
Yeah.
So, like, if this stays out a couple turns, like, you're immediately getting value. Because essentially what it is if one of your non-token creatures dies, draw a card. But specifically a creature card.
Right.
And at the very best, it's when one of your non-token creatures dies, put the next creature onto the battlefield. Like, it's stupid. Like, it's crazy.
And your opponents don't know what you're getting. So if you're running this in a deck, okay, hang on. First off, it is a 5 mana do nothing enchantment. You're going to put it out there, bang. Okay, nothing happens until one of your creatures dies. But if you're actually running this, you're right. You're running this in some sort of graveyard recursion. You're running this with, somehow you're managing all of these creatures dying.
Zombies, skeletons.
Yes.
things that you can get back from the graveyard.
Right.
Squee.
So, exactly. I mean, because it's not the size of the creature, it's the number of lands you have. So that Llanowar Elves or Elvish Mystic that you played early on, that's now chump blocking on turn 6. Who knows? Because now you've got 7 or 8 lands. You're going to flip over. You're likely going to grab whatever the next creature is, and sometimes that's just going to be something huge. Especially if you have some way to control the top of your library, maybe.
All right. My next card is Elven Raft-Steerer. It's a 3/2 for 2 and a blue. It is an elf pilot. What this says is landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, choose 1. Again, modal. Tap target creature an opponent controls, or untap target creature you control. Even if you're just putting out 1 land a turn, or you're putting out fetch lands, even Fabled Passage or Access Tunnel type stuff, so that you can get 2 triggers. Tapping down a threat, whether it's because with fetch lands you can do it on other people's turns, or tapping down a huge blocker or a like I said earlier, a death touch blocker, allows you to get through. Period.
I hadn't even thought about the fetch lands for this. But that's huge.
There are also cards that allow you to tap to put cards onto the battlefield. That with Curian Ranger, where you can return forests to your hand to untap things.
Sure.
To tap it, to put it back down, and then tap everybody's stuff, or untap all your stuff. There's so much useful utility in this uncommon that it's really hard to not be interested in. I think that it plays the blue landfall very well with regards to, Tatyova, right? Like Tatyova is very popular. You put a card down, you get a card and a life.
Right.
Now you get to also tap somebody's thing or untap your own thing.
Yeah. This is built for Simic.
Right.
It just is, because Greed's going to give you so many ways to put more than 1 land into play at a time. Yeah.
It's great for evasion. It's great for just general value.
Sure.
Even if you're, like I said, even if you're only putting 1 land down a turn. Amazing.
Sure. Well, swing with your big creature, play a land, untap your creature.
Yeah.
So now it can block as well. Or, like you said, if you've got, ways to sack a land to get a land, you can save it until somebody swings at you. Surprise, you weren't paying attention. Here we go. I looked at this, and my thought was my Muzio deck. So a commander that has an activated ability that involves tapping. So it taps, and then you do whatever you need to do. But then you can play another land, have it untap, and it's ready to go again whenever you want to do that. So, and that's, Muzio just happens to be blue, but this is going to work with there's all sorts of creatures that have a tap ability where you would love to be able to untap them and activate it again. Yeah. So,
and I think too, especially with Muzio, it's interesting because having played against that deck many times, you generally activate it on your opponent's turn. At the end step, you activate it.
Yeah.
With this, because it's a landfall trigger, you're generally going to want to do it on your turn, and then you can untap it and then wait. So you've got the 2 things.
Yeah.
I am interested to see if that would maybe allow a little consideration for those generic fetch lands. Maybe 1 or 2, not a lot, but late game, you can have it in hand and be like, all right, I'm going to play the Evolving Wilds, and then it'll trigger, and then you wait until somebody else's turn, and then you do it again, and then again, it's just...
Oh, yeah.
It's,
it can... Yeah. It can make things ugly fast. I think this a nice one.
I think this is going to see a lot of play, because it's just so generic utility that it it is endless to see the end of what it can actually do. So.
Right. And on top of that, it's landfall.
Mm.
For those of us who are playing appropriately and are running 40 lands in their decks, you're going to hit your land drops, and this thing's going to, this is going to activate for you pretty much every turn. So, yeah, oh no, I love this. This is a great pick.
Awesome. What's your next one?
All right. I'm gonna stay in blue.
Okay.
And you're gonna pardon my pronunciation here. Thranduil's Decree.
Okay.
Thranduil's Decree is a 6 mana instant, 4 and 2 blue, counter target spell. Yes, that's right, a 6 mana counter spell. If a permanent spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. So they don't get to go get it out of their graveyard. It's exiled. And it says you may cast that card without paying its mana cost for as long as it remains exiled. So Desertion is another counterspell that's much like this. Desertion costs only 5, not 6. Desertion, basically, if you counter an opponent's artifact or creature spell, you can put it into the battlefield under your control. This one offers This one offers that exact same thing, except it's more, because it's any permanent. So Planeswalker, enchantment, you name, as long as it's a permanent, you get to exile it. And it sits there until you want to play it. Now, there is a downside here, because if you're playing it on your opponent's turn, with Desertion, you just get that creature or that artifact into play right away. With this one, you can cast it, but it doesn't say you can cast it on your opponent's turn. It's not like it changes when you can cast spells, when you can cast these things. So if it's a permanent, you're probably having to wait until your turn to be able to cast it. So there is a bit of a downside, but you can cast it on anything, at any permanent, and you can do it at any time on your turn, and it doesn't even have to be the turn after you did it. You can wait on this. I'm not sure there's many reasons why you would, but if you're sitting on this and you know it's free, you countered their spell on their turn, on your turn, you just wrath the board. And now I've got a free creature, a free planeswalker, a free whatever to put out onto the battlefield. I appreciate that a 6 mana counterspell. There are some limitations as to what decks this is going to go into, but the ability to take somebody else's stuff is, if you think getting your spell countered is soul crushing, try getting it countered and then having them take it from you. So much
and then
better.
Sitting on it until.
Oh yeah. I don't want to play it yet.
This is my kind of counterspell. Yeah. This is everything I've been talking about for the past few months of just like Prismari or like is it kind of big spells, right? Like something like this where you end up getting to protect yourself, whether it's through like maybe you countered a big creature, maybe you countered a counterspell, or like you said, Planeswalker, enchantment, anything big. This is good. I like this. 6 does seem a lot, but you're playing blue, so you're probably also playing some sort of flash threat that if you don't get to play it on a round, then like that's fine. You have something else to do.
This is one of those instances where you just want to stack it up, put it on the, when you're looking at your hand, you want to stack it up so that the only card that's visible is Thranduil's Decree, and then just display it to everybody. I want you all to know I have this. All right, let's go. I've got 6 mana open. Who wants to be the one that plays the spell that I'm just going to take? Because, and if your opponents know, if you're in blue and you're holding up 6 mana, they're expecting something. And honestly, you're not going to hold it up very often because who wants to keep 6 mana? Unless you have a way to use it on your end step on something else, you don't want to leave that open. But when you've reached that midpoint, late mid-game, where you know that stuff is going to start coming out and it's going to be huge. It's going to be essential stuff. That's when you can be like, all right, I'm holding up the 6 because I know there is no way none of my opponents are going to play something that shouldn't be countered and is likely a permanent that I'll be able to take. Because I mean, just to be clear, getting the permanent is great, but sometimes, you know, if the mass removal spell is coming down and you're going to get slaughtered, okay, then this is a 6 mana counterspell, but it is a counterspell. You do stop it. So, no, I love a card like this. I love being able to, it just dramatically twists things around. They don't just lose it; you gain something on top of it, and that to me that's essential in Commander. You can't run a counterspell where you lose a card and they lose a card, but the other two opponents lost nothing.
Yeah,
you need to gain something out of this, and cards
that's
like
why
Thranduil's Decree and these other big counters that give you something are.
That's why I love the 5 mana counterspells, is because they're offering you game action beyond I countered your thing.
Yeah.
So I got one more. Well, I've got a couple more, but I'm gonna only do one more.
Sure.
My last card. It's a black instant, 1 and a black. Supper for Spider says, put onto the battlefield under your control all creature cards in your opponent's graveyards that were put there from the battlefield this turn. They are food artifacts. With 2 tap, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. And then reminder text, they lose all other types and subtypes.
Yes.
So this is really cool. I need to see how it works in my Vazi deck, because my Vazi deck loves having these like game items.
Yeah.
Food, treasure, etc. But the fact that they keep their text box beyond just also introducing that they are foods is really cool. The other really cool thing is it's graveyard hate. So like taking things out of people's graveyards is also generically good because they can't use their recursion on it.
Yeah.
But also because they're no longer creatures means that it's much harder to remove from your board. So like once you have it on your board, they're going to try to put it back in their graveyard where they can do something with it. But they have to wait until either they have artifact removal, in which case, why are they wasting it on food? Or you have to eat it. Which is also just very good. You can do that, end of turn type stuff.
Sure.
But just like gaining the text boxes of all these like creatures in the graveyards, especially just after a board wipe, especially if somebody else played the board wipe, is it's pretty sweet.
It is, and I think I look at Supper for Spiders, and initially my thought was, wow, this would be a great way to respond to somebody's wrath. Because somebody wraths the board, and now I'm going to be like, nope, we're all going to take all of these cards, we're going to put them onto my battlefield, and they're going to be harder for you to get back. Harder for everybody to get back. And I'm like, that's going to be great. Like, yeah, but you're not going to want to hold this until somebody else happens to play a wrath. You want it for your own wrath spells. You want it for, so when you wrath the board, now I can take all of your stuff so you can't rebound from the wrath very quickly. Because the cards that go into your graveyard don't come out. They're still there. You can still go get them. So I think a card like this is really great when you're playing your own wrath and then follow it up with this. I look at cards like Pestilence, because they're not really a wrath, but they do take out a lot of creatures, and they can do that in one turn, and then you're just pulling them all out of the graveyard. The other interesting part for me is, how often are you going to want to use the food? There's always this challenge, because as soon as you sack the artifact to gain the 3 life, that card goes back to their graveyard. And now they've got access to their creature again. Are you willing to let that happen? Do you need the life that badly? Or is this going to go the way we've been talking already? The whole, nope, they're just going to stack them up here. I just now have this stack of 7 artifacts. that have, the text boxes of all these creatures plus their food. So they're just going to sit there until somebody, takes out all artifacts or whatever. And I think this is really interesting. I can see using this in smaller situations as well. My Marchesa deck I regularly kill off my own creatures. They sit in the graveyard until the end of the turn. And if they had a counter on them, they come back. Well, Supper for Spiders says, no, you're not getting those back. I'm tired of having to deal with this turn after turn. We're just going to take those. And yeah, you only get 2, but you do stop something that's essential. And I can see that happening as well with a lot of these cards. So.
Yeah, that actually brings up an extremely important point for me, is that I play against somebody who combos with Gravecrawler.
Okay, yeah.
And that is like a fairly like unstoppable combo, right? You sack it to Phyrexian Altar, you make a black, it goes to the graveyard. You play it from the graveyard because it's a single black. And as long as you have like a aristocrat trigger, everyone's dead.
Yeah.
The great thing about this is that it's an instant. So once it goes to the graveyard, you play it. They can't respond by playing the grave crawler.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have flash.
Right.
So it stops that combo for 2 mana. Yeah. So it's like you're hardly even like if you're playing against that deck, like just it's great tech.
So many decks use Graveyard Recursion. Graveyard Recursion is not just for black decks, and it just keeps rolling. And I believe that virtually every deck that I make now has to have some way to block Graveyard Recursion, whether it's a Bojuka Bog or whatever you're using. There should always be at least one thing that at least gives you some hope that you might be able to take out somebody's graveyard. And I think Suffer for Spiders gives you something for it as well. So, and to be clear, this is not wiping out an opponent's graveyard. You're just, you're picking off. This is a very, very careful pick off.
It's similar to, it's similar to Stone by Sunlight, where it feels like they just kept adding words, where as they kept adding words to the card, it became more and more generic in its uses.
Yeah.
Where you can think of like 1,000 different ways that this is relevant. But the thing to keep in mind is that it is creatures from a graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. So milling is irrelevant here. Even self-mill from an opponent. But I think the other thing to keep in mind is like it's 2 mana. Like you will find something to do with it eventually, and like holding up 2 mana is hardly all that hard. We got time I think for one more.
All right, my last one.
Your last
Eagle of the Great Shelf. This is 4 and a white for a 2/5 flying bird soldier. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn for each other creature you control. This is each other creature you control, not each other attacking creature. So you can sit there in your pillow fort and send out this one flyer to go, and it's going to look back on all those soldier tokens you've got sitting there that can't swing because they're mere 1/1s and all they're good for is blocking. And it goes over the top of whatever they've got and hits for 12 because you've got 10 soldier tokens sitting there. This thing is, I know there's limitations as to how good this actually is, but realistically, even in a deck where it's just whatever, where you're not even doing that, you've probably got 3 creatures out.
Yeah.
Okay, well then that makes this a 4/7, or no, sorry,
a 5/8.
Yeah, a 5/8. I mean.
Or like 3 other creatures.
If there's 3 other creatures there, or 2 other creatures, you're at a 4/7. A 4/7 for 5 that flies is just not that bad. And honestly, it's a 2/5 that can block, even without getting the pump. 5 flyer is pretty tough, and it will block a lot of those 1/1 flyers or 2/2 flyers that come out. It can stuff those consistently, and then this thing can swing in for huge if you've got big enough numbers.
And it holds equipment well.
Absolutely.
There are more and more extra we talked about this.
Extra combat steps. That's exactly where I was going. Because this triggers on every attack. So if you've got 3 other creatures, it gets +3/+3 on the first combat. On the next combat, it's going to get +6/+6, assuming those creatures aren't dead.
An additional +3/+3. But
right.
Like a cumulative.
Right. So this thing is get bigger and bigger. So if you've got a second combat, it's now swinging. It's now getting a 6 bonus. It's swinging in for 8.
Yeah.
And well, if you've got a third combat, then I think
then it's win more at that point. But
yeah, it's a little bit win more. But this is an uncommon. This is just a standard creature that is sort of there, and it's a good blocker, and it has the potential to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And I really believe that players are not going to be paying attention to this until they've been hit by it once. If you're playing in a regular play group, I think you get one free swing with this before everybody realizes, oh, that's bad.
This makes me want to add white to Karlach or give this vigilance, right? Like,
oh yeah, and equipment that gives vigilance to this thing. This thing can carry swords.
Yeah.
Give it a sword of X and Y, and now suddenly it's getting +2 on top of whatever other plus it gets for the number of creatures that are out there. There are so many easy ways to make this even bigger on top of this, to make it vigilant or give it protection or whatever. I think this is this isn't a wow card, but honestly, people are going to read this and not really understand exactly how big it is until it swings. So
it's good. Yeah.
I like this one.
I'm excited to get my hands on this set.
I'm looking forward to the set.
Yeah.
And I know that this is going to be a lot of fun. There are a lot of folks out there who have their Lord of the Rings set or their Middle Earth deck. And
heard of it?
I fully expect to see a lot of these cards showing up in those decks. So
yeah, very excited. But that's going to do it for us this week on Temple of the Falsepod, where decks are not optimized, but our plays sure as heck are fun. I'm Andy.
I'm Bruce.
Thank you again for watching. Thank you again for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, press subscribe, comment down below, give us a like, do whatever. Let us know what your favorite cards are. And we'll see you next week. Play some Magic. Go to your LGS. Play in your pre-release. And may your 5th land be the Temple.
Bye!
Wait. Before you go, just wanted to say thank you for listening. You can reach out to us via email at falsepodmtg@gmail.com or in Blue Sky @falsepodmtg. Bruce is @manaburned, and I'm @AndyWeekend, though you'll definitely notice I use the podcast Blue Sky far more often. Now that we've got you here, make sure you subscribe, like, rate us on whatever podcast platform you use. It helps us out. It gets us more reach. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Like a video there. Leave some comments for more casual enjoyment. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with some more timeless discussions about all things casual. So come hang out, and may your 5th land be the Temple. Bye-bye. Should I do my best, Bruce? Bye!